This work is my student Sam's work actually, but he has exams, so he cannot come here. I will present this on behalf of Sam. This work is based in University of Manchester, and we have a Hector group. You can see on the GitHub, this Hector EOM is Healthcare Text Analytics at the University of Manchester. And we host different open source projects or open research projects. And this one is Transformer CF. This morning I had another open research project that we present about medtime, medication, and temporality. So this work is exploring the value of pre-trained language models for clinical name entity recognition. We call it exploring value because it's kind of not very popular for people to fine-tune a pre-trained language model, either bigger or smaller, for their domain applications. And we wonder if this is the correct choice for everyone, especially when the pre-trained language model is getting bigger and bigger. You cannot host in normal GPU, not to say on your computers. So we want to compare fine-tuned pre-trained language models versus scratch-learned transformer models using the same dataset to see their performance, their pros and cons, if there is difference, and if there is, how much is difference. And can you tolerate this difference for the sake of the cost? That's one of the main motivations of this work. And here you see the logo of the project, Transformer CF. There's a B because my colleague also asked why there's a B. I think Stephen knows. B is the logo of Manchester because people say Manchester working class, they work hard, and they give their city a B logo. And we just put University of Manchester, Transformer CF, painted on the B. The motivations I briefly mentioned again. So fine-tuned pre-trained language model, is it always correct? That's a question mark. We cannot just take it for granted. Yeah, it is, but why? Have you tried without fine-tuning, learning from your own data? And is this correct for different domains, for different tasks? That is another question. For your own task, for domain-specific task, does it make a difference? And in this case study, we do name entity recognition in clinical domain, basically related to drugs, medications, and their related attributes. For example, adverse drug effect, form, route, frequency of drugs. In this project, we compared LLMs and transformer from scratch. LLM including BERT, everyone use, BioBERT, that is related domain to clinical because of biomedical, and then clinical BERT, that is very in domain pre-trained foundation model, I say. And then scratch-learned is a transformer that proposed in 2017, 6 years ago, the paper Attention is All You Need from Google's research group. And in addition to transformer structure, we also add on top of transformer a CF layer. If some of you are not familiar with CF, it was the state-of-the-art statistical model before neural model killed everyone. So you can have a look. This is the overall view of the project. From left side, you see BERT, BioBERT, and clinical BERT. That is, these three are all pre-trained. And we add adaptation layer for this anti-recognition. And then we add the CF layer. We call it the BERT CF, BioBERT CF, and clinical CF. On the right side, transformer, that is only the structure. We didn't use any pre-trained embeddings. For the dataset that we used, it's kind of famous dataset if you ever joined any shared task or clinical domain. It's N2C2, before this called I2B2, organized by Americans. And in 2018, they have a shared task called Adverse Drug Events and Medication Extraction in Electronic Health Record, organized by Henry et al. And in the official training data, there are 303 letters, and the testing data is 202 letters. We want to make this number specifically clear here because that's one of the points we want to examine, like how big is the data to be bigger enough for scratch-learned lightweighted model to make sense. So in this 303 training data, we split into 9:1 ratios for our own training and development, and then we keep the same test set not touched. And in total, we calculate around 41K sentences in training site, and 4.5K in the validation site, and 30K in the testing site. So the testing site actually here is not that small compared to training site for generalizability. The exact label here we mentioned ADE is adverse drug effect, dosage, drug duration, form, frequency, reason, route, and strength. For training and optimization, we firstly train or fine-tune. So this transformer APT and transformer CF is training because it has nothing before. And then PRM plus CF, that is fine-tuning. And after we get this, we use the validation site to select parameters according to our loss functions and epochs. And after we get the optimized parameter site, we retrain the model using the train and validation using the optimized set. Then we test it using the official test set. Here you can have a look about the difference of the model about efficiency. Let's say BERT-CF and BioBERT-CF have 100 million parameters, and clinical BERT-CF have 130 million parameters. However, scratch-learned transformer CF has around 40% lower parameters than the baseline model. That will reduce the size dramatically. For example, you can run on your own laptop. In addition to that, we did efficient training. This step is because we observed in the electronic health records, only 10% of the token or special tokens belong to the NaN category. Majority, 90% of the token are context words, not drugs related. For example, the patient might be talking with a clinician about their life, some context words. And so to make the model more efficient or lower cost, we downsample the data to reduce the context words that is not crucial to the model learning. So in this way, we further reduce the training size. So from approximately 75% to 20% the context. Here you can see visually, the left side is label distribution originally, and then after downsampling that site, we increased the special labels percentage, but of course our data set is smaller because the context is smaller. In the evaluation setting, I mentioned this in the morning as well, we have a macro, micro, and weighted evaluation. So macro evaluation gives each label the same weight. So here actually there are 10 categories, non-special category, and then O that is context words. So macro will give the context words under the special labels the same, the special labels category, same weight. However, micro score will give each token the same weight. Whether it's special label or not, each word has same weight. And the weighted score is the label category has the weight according to the portion of this label population occupation percentage. So according to your applications, you will think which one more important. I'll talk about this later. Here you can see using macro evaluation, we compare BERT, BioBERT, clinical BERT, transformers from scratch, and their CF layers. You can see in this macro evaluation, when we give same weight for the non-special labels and the contact words, the F1 score, that is transformer CF learned from scratch, is 0.78, and the best score from the pre-trained language model is fine-tuned 0.83. So the difference is 0.05. That is something, but depends on your application, you can consider if it is worthy to choose scratch-learned transformer CF, use your own data, or using the pre-trained language model. But the score difference will narrow down when we go to the ablation evaluations. Here is the weighted evaluation result. That is, when the context has a higher percentage of the population, the context get a higher weight. If we calculate this way, the difference narrows down to 0.01. The transformer CF, that is from scratch, and the pre-trained language model. Here you see the quite big jump. That's also the difference between macro and the weighted evaluation. The macro is lower because it takes context and same weight with the special token, special labels. And in our paper, we also calculate the detailed. Sorry, maybe I can click. Is this better?
Yeah.
So in the paper, we also calculate each category, their scores, ADE, duration, reason, dosage, etc. And not only token, but also span level. For example, BI here means beginning of the span. If this drug is multiple words, or this symptom is multiple words, then we also calculate if the model can predict this is the beginning of the span or inner of the span. So B and I means beginning and inner of the span. And this three model is, can I move this? Okay. Yeah, this three model is from breath CIF, clinical breath CIF, and transformer CIF. We also calculate the confusion matrix. See, when the model make it correct, how correct, or when it's wrong, how it's wrong. Here you can see in the horizontal is the predicted label, in the vertical is the correct label. This in the diagonal is very dense. That means actually mostly it's correct. When it's dosage, it go to dosage. But what is wrong, you can see here for the ADE and the reasons. And in this way, we want to make the model more transparent, especially the model we are developing in University of Manchester will be applied to local hospitals in UK, and we want the clinicians understand more about how the model behave, and so they can trust it more. Here is what I mentioned about ablation evaluation earlier. You can see, okay, so firstly, this breath CIF, clinical breath CIF, and transformer CIF. The first row here is when we're removing the label O, that is content words, using only non-key labels when we calculate the score. Actually, the score didn't drop, actually it's higher. That means the model actually is predicting correctly on the special tokens, not only on the context words. And then we add here removing ADE and reason because ADE and reason is popular to confuse the model because, for example, reasons can be less patterns. When the drugs, you have patterns, or form, you have patterns. But reasons, the clinician can say, because what, you have this problem. And this reason can be very randomized phrase. Also, adverse drug effects can be more diverse. That's also why the model perform less accurate on these two categories than others. And then we removed when we evaluate another category that's removing O, the context, and reason AD. Here you will see the performance is much higher, more than 90%. Yeah, and we also have another evaluation is if we merge AD and reason, because we saw on the confusion matrix, sometimes the model label AD as reason, sometimes label reason as AD. That actually makes sense because this reason and adverse drug effects, they are really connected. And if we merge these two, the performance, when we merge these two means either this label should be AD or reason, you predict one correct. And the performance is nearly 90% for macro average. That is span level, and we also calculate token level evaluation. Token level means we do not care if this is the beginning of the phrase or inner of the phrase, as long as it's form, you label it as form. As long as it's reason, you label all the token as reason. The score is much higher, mostly go to 97 plus. That means both scratch learned model and the pre-trained language model, they perform very comparable and very high scores. And pay attention, this scratch learned model only used 303 training letters. That is not that large. So this is another token level evaluation with CIF layer. Okay, so in summary, look back our research questions about compare pre-trained language model with fine-tuning and train your own model from scratch, whether it's worthy or not, and how much that would be enough to train your own model. So from this experiment, we learned that around 20,000 sentences that have 10% labels, that actually is good enough to produce reliable outcome. And the scratch learned transform APT, adaptation layer, and transform CF produce a very comparable score to fine-tuned RLMs. And fine-tuned RLM use a vast amount of data to pre-train it. And the score difference is 5 points, but it narrowed down to 1 point when you do the ablation evaluation or the weighted evaluation, weighted average. Excuse me. And also we shared our source code in GitHub, so people can use and try to train their own model using their own data for their own domain, see how it perform. A little bit of insight that might lead to some future work if you want to take it away can be derived from this work, that both top models accelerate low performance labeling AD and reason. If you have some idea to improve these two categories, that is good. And for the misclassification, drugs, reasons, and frequency are the higher ranked. And among the same attitude, whether it's beginning of drug or end of drug, that still confuse the model. So it might need some, for example, in the morning there's talk about, my colleague talk about knowledge graphs, we're sitting here. Maybe you can integrate domain knowledge graph to help the model to inference whether it's beginning of drug or inner part of drug, if you strictly require that. Here's the B again from Manchester. Thanks very much. How much time did I spend?
Too much.
Sorry.